address actually has, that is a Windows machine that's running Windows 7, and the host name of that computer happens to be Tucker-Win7. Now, how you know this is a host machine name? The host machine name is always going to have the $ at the end. Okay, just as a, that's for future reference. But I want to create a column that will show me all of the Windows host machines and the logins. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to right click on CNAME string. And if you'll notice, you actually have an option here to apply as column. And that is going to create a column for you. So if you have not done that, you can go ahead and do that now.
Richard, can you repeat one more time? So we click on which IP address?
So you can click on any of them,
any
of them that actually have the KRB5. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Who remembers what port Kerberos is on?
Oh, it's 60.
Nope.
66.
Nope.
Oh my God, I forgot.
It's in front of you. Look at your Wireshark.
Oh, it's 88.
88. So anything that's on 88 should be Kerberos. So as long as you pick on any one of these, you're going to have an option in there of your Kerberos, and you're going to get the same kind of thing. So it doesn't really matter which one you actually happen to particularly click on. Okay. Just whichever one you do, follow the file structure down, or follow the tree down.
So if I am not getting, what mistake am I doing?
If you're not getting what?
If I click on KRB55, then I click on Kerberos, I get record mark as just 243 bytes. Yep. And then I don't get anything else. TGS rep, I don't get any of those.
Go to a different one. Go to a different packet. You probably want to find one that has a source port of 88.
Yeah, it is. Source port of 88.
Okay, so I'm clicking on Kerberos, then record mark, right?
No, the TGS rep.
Okay, I need to look at it one more time. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So Kerberos record mark, then TGS rep, and then CNAME.
Yep.
And then okay.
And then CNAME string.
Got it.
And again, you're going to right click on that. And left click on apply as column. Now I already have that column. I just have to go turn it back on. So I'm just going to go back up here to my column preferences, and I'm just going to turn mine on. Yours will appear though in your. So now you should have a CNAME string.
Yeah.
I don't have CNAME string.
Okay. Did you do it just like this? Look at my screen. Right here on CNAME.
Oh, I found it. I found it. CNAME, and then what? Okay. So after I clicked on CNAME, it's what I'm doing. Look, after CNAME, I'm doing apply as a column.
Yes, ma'am.
On a CNAME, right?
Yep. Yeah. And as soon as you do that, you should get a column up here that says CNAME string.
Oh, you clicked on CNAME string, which is name of the Tucker-Wins PS. And I have KRB5 and T principal. I don't think it's a name of the.
Question for you. Do you have a CNAME string column now?
Oh, I found it.
Yes. But do you have a CNAME string column?
Yes.
Okay. So again, this is what I want you to keep in mind. We're just setting this up for something we're actually going to do later. And the actual answers for that part is exactly right here on my screen. But we're gonna find that later on. So just bear with me. I just wanted to try to get that CNAME string column for you because it'll make it easier later on. Okay. Cool.
I actually clicked on where's your cursor right now, CNAME string and name of the host, and then applied it as a column. Is that correct?
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you right click it.
Yeah. Applied as a column. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you're good. All right. Perfect. Okay. So we are done setting up the columns. Is anybody still doing it? Need help? Or are we good to move on?
And why were you doing this?
So again, later on, we're going to do a search actually looking for host names and usernames. So I just wanted to have this column set up for you so that we
Got
can
it.
have to go through that then. I just wanted to try to get a lot of the setup done. That way it's already there, okay?
Mhm.
If in a lot of cases, for instance, on a network like this where maybe you're analyzing a lot of network traffic, you might have these columns in here all the time. So then all you have to do is do your search string. You know, you can basically just look it up. You can go right to the column and see exactly what's there, and you don't have to go through all this once it's set up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've done that, one thing that I've learned is always clear out your filter if you want to go back to the main one. So if you click on the X up here in the filter bar, that makes you go back to your original packet. So you're at the original PCAP file.
He's also getting angry. Focus on your class.
I am.
No, you're not. You're still thinking about us. Let's focus on the class.
All right, so now we're back at just the PCAP. So now I want to go through a couple of things with you guys. So now we can actually start looking at the questions. And again, if you actually look at the exercise itself, they give you the questions.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things that we're going to be looking for. And again, we might not get through all of these. We're going to do the best we can and kind of go from there. But what I will tell you is that how I did it was I actually opened up my Notepad++. I copied these questions into my Notepad++, and I actually did a hierarchy step-by-step how to do each and every one of these, okay? I'm not going to give that to you though. I want you to work through it with me. I don't want you to kind of be looking at that. So I will give that to you after we're done so that you have it and then you can go back and reference it, okay? Cool? All right. So the first one we're doing is what operating system and type of device is on 10.11.11.94. Okay. So the question is, how do we find that? How do we find that computer to know what computer it is?
Search with the IP address.
You could, yep, you could basically do that. I'm going to give you a much faster way.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody watching?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go to the top here and go to statistics and go to end points, and you might have to click on IPv4 when you get there, but this gives you the IP addresses of every single computer, every single IP address, every single endpoint that has been talked to or communicated with in this entire network packet capture. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So here's your IP address that we're looking for right there, right? 10.11.11.94.
Mm-hmm.
We want to add that as part of our filter. So you can right click on it and then left click on apply as filter. Okay. Now you could type in IP address equals. You could type that in. And once you get familiar with the search strings, that's probably a faster way to do it in a lot of cases. Okay. But depending on, where you're at, this might be a little bit easier for you. Okay. So once you do selected, in the background, you'll notice that your PCAP file has now modified. Now you can close this, you can close your endpoint IP address listing window. And right now you have a filter that is filtering your 22,828 packets down into 758 packets. And again, how I know that is down here on the bottom. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So now instead of looking at 100% of the packet, we're only looking at 3.3%, much smaller to be able to work with. If you're working with days or, you know, a lot longer hours of PCAP files, you could have pretty massive amounts of information. So being able to filter this is huge and very, very important, right? Hang on 1 second. Oh, okay. Linux just told me my battery is fully charged. I'm like, wait a minute, am I? Okay. Oh, DaVinci. Okay, so we need to add a little bit more though. We want to be able to figure out the computer and the operating system. Now, the nice thing is that is information that you can find in HTTP protocols. So if you were to go to statistics and protocol hierarchy, that will give you the hierarchy of all the protocols that are in this 758 packets that we just filtered it down to. Okay. We only want to look at the items that are in the HTTP, the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So I'm going to add this as an additional filter along with the IP address that's already here. Okay. So I'm going to right click on Hypertext Transfer Protocol and I'm going to apply as a filter. But before you do that, you need to make sure that you're applying it correctly. Because if you change it, if you do select it again, it's going to replace your IP address filter. We want to add it additionally. So we're going to use the AND functionality. Okay, make sense? And when I click on that, again, if you look at the back, it's going to change. And look at your search now. Now your search string is the IP address equals 10.11.11.94. And this is the symbols for the word and, it's the same thing. And then it's selecting HTTP as the protocol. So now I can close out my protocol window and I have HTTP GET requests for this IP address. And the cool thing about this is I can right click on this and follow the TCP stream and see that information. So you can pick any of the packets, it doesn't matter. But you right click on it. Actually, you probably want to go with the GET just to be safe, but I think you can do the other one as well too, because this is both sides of the conversation, right? So if I do my GET and then follow TCP stream, it'll bring up the TCP stream. Now there is another way to get to it. If you go here to analyze, you can do analyze, follow TCP stream, same thing. No difference, it's just a second way to get there. And you're going to get a TCP stream here that's going to give you information. Does anybody know what the difference between the red and the blue is?
Is it one is post and one is GET?
Almost. I think that actually probably could be pretty, saying it that way probably makes sense. The red is your source, the blue is your destination.
Oh.
Okay.
So in this case, here's what we are going to look at. In your TCP stream, and specifically in your GET, you have a couple of particular items. The first one that we're looking at is the user agent. The user agent is information on the computer. This is information that tells you what machine, so what kind of machine, and what operating system it's running. Anybody want to take a stab at what they think it is?
What was the question again?
So we are going on, DaVinci, I know you kind of hopped in a little bit late. So
Yeah.
we are, if you look at the agenda, we are working on the, oh goodness gracious, my brain just flipped out on me. We're working on the malware traffic analysis exercise right here. And right now we're going through the questions that are on this. So if you click on that link, it's going to take you here, and there's questions here that are your tasks, and we're working through these tasks right now. So we're on the very first question, which is what operating system and type of device is this IP address? So this one is a little
Mozilla.
hard.
Oh wait,
This one,
sorry.
that's okay. This one is not as straightforward. So what I want to tell you is this information right here is actually what you're looking for. So this is a
Mac OS.
It's a Chromebook actually, and it's the Chrome OS. So if you actually were to take this and do a little bit of Googling, a little bit of research, there are,
Richard, for some reason I have Mac OS.
okay,
Because we collect on different
Could be.
different packets, so I have different information also.
okay. So you actually, all of these should give you the same, they should,
I also have Chrome OS, like
okay.
you, Richard.
Okay, so as long you want to keep your IP that you're looking for in the source one. So any one of the ones that has your IP that you're looking for in the source, it should give you that information.
Okay.
So follow the TCP stream and boom, you should get it. One of the tools that they gave was a tool called deviceatlas.com. Deviceatlas.com, you actually have to pay for a subscription to be able to use that. That really doesn't help us much here, unfortunately. But you can research this. You can copy and paste this and Google it and find out, what that is. Here, if I go Google paste. So Chrome, what is Chrome OS? Chrome OS, user agent strings, Chrome OS web apps. Asus Chromebook, here you go. Asus Chromebook. And there's your, it shows the exact same thing we just looked for. If we had access to that other tool, it would be able to tell us specifically with this search information, it would be able to tell us that that was a Chromebook running the Chrome OS. Some of these you're just going to get used to seeing, and some of them are pretty self-explanatory, okay? The next one is actually going to be a little bit easier to see. So the answer to this question would be it's a Chromebook and it's running the Chrome OS. So the Chromebook is the only thing that runs the Chrome OS. All right. If this was a computer that I was wanting to dive into and search, this would be very helpful information in my research, right? What if this particular IP address was the computer that was compromised? This information might tell me a little bit about some of the potential vulnerabilities that are on that machine.
Oh, on that machine, yes.
Right? So this could potentially give me some information that's helpful for that. But at some point in time, you're going to need to be able to research what version of what operating system and what kind of machine is this, okay? And I think once we do a few more of these, you'll kind of see how this is beneficial. All right, so the next question. Oops. The next question is, what operating system and type of device is on 10.11.11.121? Does anybody,
We can do the same thing.
exactly. Anybody think they can walk through it? Anybody think they can figure it out and tell me?
Yeah, statistics.
So
And
remember,
click on endpoints
yep,
and click on IPv4
yep,
and look for the IP that we need, that is 10 dot
yep, got it right here.
11 dot. Okay.
10.11.11.121.
Right click and apply as filter. Selected.
Perfect. And now I can close this out, right?
Close this out. Yeah.
And now what do I do?
And again, we can go to statistics and add one more filter, protocol hierarchy. and look for
Hypertransfer.
HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol.
Yep. Right.
And this time apply as filter and select and selected, not just selected.
Perfect. And again, that adds that to our original.
Original search.
Yeah. Now, this one's actually really nice because this one actually took it down to, I mean, we've got what, six files here, so, or six packets. So that's pretty easy.
Yes, only 6 packets.
Again, so if we right click on this,
Right click and follow TCP stream.
yep. And then what are we working with?
It's Linux, some Android, Samsung.
Yeah, Linux x86_64. So we can Google that and find out.
Right here. So you're exactly right. So remember, Androids and Macintosh or Apple phones all actually work on Linux, right?
Yeah, and Android. So Linux also works on Android as well, right?
Correct.
Android 9, Samsung SM. Is it phone or is it?
Well, let's find out. Let's take this right here.
I think it's a phone.
I think you are right, Miss Elena. So if I paste that into Google, look what I find.
Yeah.
It's not Note 8.
So this device is a what?
It's a cell phone.
It's a cell phone. It's a Samsung Galaxy Note 8, and it's running the Android 9 Linux file or operating system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
So for future reference, this is actually the files in this TCP stream. This is more or less the, I guess you could call that the payload. I think that's right, appropriate. One of the things that we're gonna notice a little bit later on is you're gonna you have a file header, and that file header we've talked about before. That file header is going to come into play later on, so keep that in the back of your brain. All right.
so XMS, it's a file header.
What's that?
XMS is a file header.
Should be. Yep. That should be the file header, and we could look that up actually too. So we could go to our file signatures.
And you posted this file signatures, right? Somewhere.
Actually, XMS is not coming up, so maybe it's not an XMS. Maybe this one isn't a good example, so I'm not sure, but it'll definitely come to play later on, but that's okay. All right. So for question number 2, we've got the answer for question number 2 now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to do something a little bit different. I asked earlier, at what level would you look for the MAC address? And I think Elena told me, if I remember right. So now we get to play with that a little bit. So we're going to be looking for this IP address, but instead of looking for the device, what kind of device it is and what operating system it is, we're going to actually look and find out who manufactured their network card. So what do you think we can do to start off? Somebody else walk me through. Priya, you walked me through really well the last one. Somebody else walk me through a little bit. Where do I start?
We can do statistics again.
Let's clear out our filter first.
Yeah, we can go to statistics and we can go to endpoints.
Yeah.
And we can do IPv4. We can find this IP address.
Yep. And it was 10
and then
145, I believe, right?
I believe so.
145.
Yeah.
Okay.
145.
Oh yeah, and then we do right click and do selected.
Okay. Close.
And close it out, and then just go to the second from the up layer, and we can find a MAC address.
Yeah, it's right there, right?
Yeah.
So Wireshark is actually pretty cool in that Wireshark, most of the time, it seems as though it tells you who the manufacturer is.
Okay.
But as a reminder, this is your actual MAC address right here. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What in here notates the manufacturer?
The first 3, we can find out the manufacturer of that Mac.
Exactly right. So if you actually take and go to Wireshark actually has a tool, Hang on one second. I actually did. I put that?
Quick question. It was several MAC addresses there. Which one we are and why? How we understand that which one is which?
Okay, so, well, let's see here. Oh, so 10.1.1 or 10.11.11.45. If I click on that, this right here is your MAC address for that source computer.
Okay.
This over here is the destination MAC address,
Okay.
which you're seeing. Now that's probably not actually the MAC address for the actual endpoint. That's probably
Yeah, I see it
address
now.
for that's probably the MAC address for the router if I had to.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it now because I didn't see the source and destination. Yeah, I
Yep.
see it.
Yeah, they're always, at least from what I've seen, they're always, I'm pretty sure they're always in order of how they are here. So if you select one where your source is your IP that you're looking for, it's going to be the first one. If you select one where your IP is the destination, it's going to be in the second portion. It's going to be in the destination portion. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you go to, again, Wireshark has agenda. Did I share that? Actually, I did not share that. So Wireshark, here it is. The OUI lookup tool. Here, let me copy that and add it to the agenda. So if you actually needed to look up the MAC address, for some reason it actually does not put it in there, you can go here to the tool and you can type in that information. So it's BCFFEB. BCFF.
It's a destination, a MAC address of a destination. We are looking for source, right?
So look, if I type in that portion, the first three portions, and hit find, it'll tell me that it's a Motorola
Nice.
network card, okay? There is another one called MAC vendor lookup. I will tell you this MAC address does not pull up in the MAC vendor lookup tool. I tried it and it did not. So MAC vendor lookup.com. It did not pull up that MAC address for some reason. I don't know why. Save that as a link. Link. All right, there we go. But if you don't have that information there, if it doesn't show it, you can type in the first three sections and figure out exactly. So again, question number 3. Looks like we are. There we go. So question number 3, we can say that the vendor was who?
Motorola.
Motorola. All right, so now this is your turn. So you get to, I want all of you to up and tell me what operating system and what kind of computer 10.11.11.179 is. Don't tell me, send me a private message in Rocket Chat. That way I can see it.
Okay.
Okay. With that, I'm gonna step away for just a real quick second and I'll be right back. I'm gonna pause the recording as well. All right. So whenever
Screen.
just share
Yeah.
share your screen.
I'm sharing. Can you see it?
Yep, we can see your Wireshark. So
Okay, perfect.
We can see
Let
it.
me, and it was 1979. I remove the filter. So I go to statistics, endpoints. Then I'm looking for the IP address of 179.
no, 145 actually.
Oh,
145.
145.
Oh, is it
I
not
think-
179?
I'm sorry, it is 179. I'm sorry.
179, yes. And then right click, apply filters, select it, and just close it out. And now